And again, back with our introduction. So this webinar is it uses the principles of GIS, specifically spatial analytics. And if you see, we have organized it for free, and we have seen so many registration in the last few days. And then I'll just show you. We can just proceed now. So are you ready, guys? So let's just start with the basic mapping background. If anybody is unfamiliar with mapping before, so we have. So usually you might have seen this sort of maps. This map is called a reference map. It has some bits of roads and that sort of features, as well as it shows some topographical features. But it is just for reference. It doesn't actually represent a theme. Whereas what we are going to prepare in this webinar is these thematic maps. So this map, if you see here, they show some values. So these are the dollars, and if you see that this is a map of US basically, and they are showing that how much is the value of the product sold per farm, and these small administrative divisions are the counties there. So basically, it represents some special theme or subject. So that's why it's called a thematic map. It doesn't really focus on the objects rather than it focuses on the subjects. And we have seen many organizations mapping this coronavirus spread. And if you know, because nowadays we have seen lockdowns in many of the countries worldwide, and especially in India, we have a major lockdown here. And now we need the help of mapping more than ever. And if you see that many of other platforms are using this sort of proportional symbols map for mapping the cases. So basically, it shows the values in a circle, and the circle size is scaled based on its value. So this is just an example map of the in the state. And most of the platforms are using this sort of map right now. So it is very helpful if you see if you want to map on a large scale. But we still have other options, so you can take a look at the other option. So I just wanted to show that this is the biggest platform. If you guys want to check out, it's made by ESRI and John Hopkins University jointly, and this is one of the. So apart from WHO dashboard, this is another dashboard, and I have put a link on that. You will receive in the tutorial document, and you can go on that link and all that. And then, if you see, they're also using proportional symbols map, right? But the key difference here is that it gets messier. It gets very messier when there are so many small administrative divisions, and when the proportional, I mean, the number of cases rises, so that the circles will get bigger, and that's why it will create a conflict, and you won't be easily able to differentiate. So that's why we have some different symbologies and options. So I'll proceed with the next one. So this is a choropleth map. So what is choropleth map? Basically, it represents different values in different shades. So you can see that this is an example of the U.S. Census Bureau map of the median household income, and here you can see the legend. So you can see that from smaller income levels to larger income levels, you can see that the shades get darker, and this is a categorical representation of the data. So that means that you can easily differentiate between different values. It can be income levels, it can be coronavirus cases, anything. But why Choropleth map is very popular is because it shows a range of different values, different categories, in a very sort of aesthetic, in an aesthetic appealing way. And if you see here that these states where the income is high, like California, Wyoming, Utah, you can see that they have a darker shade. And this basically, it's very important if you are doing something on a large scale. So this is called a Choropleth map, and will proceed. And this is so what we want to add here is that we want some statistics as well. So we just don't want just a presentation of just plain values. We want some statistics. So we can add pie charts as well. So pie chart is one of the best option we have on special analytics mapping. And if you see here that these pie charts are actually scaled based on the total Hispanic population. But if you see the individual pie charts, right, they are showing a proportion of Hispanic, that is the Spanish population, and the non-Hispanic population. So it gives a very good idea if you are dealing with some different proportion of your values. And if we move on, we'll see that what we are actually going to do in our webinar exercise is that we are merging two different concepts. So we will have a Choropleth map, obviously, to show the number of confirmed cases. That means the total cases in each state or any administrative division you like. And we have a graphical map, that is just the pie chart. And if you see here that we have three different attributes, because we are getting that sort of data in that way from different sources. And I would be more than happy to share this sources at the end of this presentation. But as of now, if you can see that we can proportionately show these different cases in pie charts, and then we have this Choropleth map as well of the total number of confirmed cases. And then we have shown that we are just given the reason why we are using this, because like we explained, the proportional plots actually does not show any other detail than the total number of cases. It omits out all this important information of how many people are recovering or how many people are dead. Um, so it's like that, and then we can combine all these maps and together in a single map. So that's what we are going to show you. But before that, we need some data for this exercise. So first of all, what you need is a shapefile. So there are a number of platforms where you can freely download shapefiles, which I will discuss at the end of this tutorial webinar. And so first you need those polygons, administrative boundaries, and you need a data file in the CSV format, that is the comma separated values. And currently we just have updated the latest number on these southern states, because we are mapping the southern states of India today to show how the coronavirus has spread. And this is just past data, so it's just for the sample. And your files need to be arranged in this way. You need all the supporting files with the shapefile. So you can't just use shapefile individually. You need all the supporting files, but that will actually come along when you download any data. You don't have to worry about that much. And you need to arrange the data in the CSV file just like how it is showing, right? So we can start off our hands-on training from here. So first of all, you need this QGIS. So for that, we'll just start with our QGIS. So once you download the stable version, so I'm using QGIS 3.10, which is the latest long-term release version. It's a Coronia, and it's a city. It's named based on a city in probably Spain or somewhere. So once you start it, I'll show you how to create a new, totally new map. And guys, before that, you always have to remember one thing, that you keep on saving the file periodically. Otherwise, it will be like, uh, sometimes if it crashes due to some reason, you will lose all your files. So I have created the new project here, and first of all, let's save it. So we can just save it wherever we want. So I already have my working folder, or the working directory you can call, and I'll just give it a name, an intuitive name. So let's say I name it South India, because we are mapping all the South Indian states. So once you save it, it will show here that your working space is loaded. And before that, I'll show you how to, first of all, some of you won't have this panel, and this is very important panel, because here, from here, you add all the files. So you go into the view toolbar, in the menu toolbar, you go into the view, and then you start this toolbars, and make sure this manage layers toolbar is checked. So once you do that, mostly it will automatically align here on the sidebar, and here you can add all the data. So now, first of all, we need to add the shapefile. So for that, we click on the add vector layer, and you can also manually add it from here. Add layer, add vector layer is both the same, doesn't make any difference. And you can just put your, so you see this button, browse button, you can just click on that, and it will open your main folder where you are working on right now. So what we are going to do is, we need this file, the southern states. So those are the polygons where I am joining my statistical data with the shapefile. So we are uploading the shapefile now. So just add it, close it, and there you go. You have your polygon sorted. Now let's observe the attribute table. So here, if you see, we have a list of names of the state. We have a state code, but apart from that, we don't have any other information which is very important to map the COVID-19 cases. So what we are going to do is, we will just add the actual coronavirus cases data. So I have updated the latest on which I showed you the time and date as well. So that's the most, um, it's the latest one which we have. So you go in your folder where you have the CSV file. So remember, I told you to arrange all the fields like we have. And I'll show you once we open this. So it will already show you how many data we have right here. So it's already here, and then we add it, right, and then we observe the attribute table. So you can see that we have got these different states with the same name as in the attribute table of the polygon shapefile, and we have the number of confirmed cases, active cases, recovered cases, and all that. Now, what we don't need is, actually, we don't need all these fields, but sometimes, because you're working on a CSV, they all come along. So you don't have to worry about that. You just start by joining this table, right, to this polygon. So how we are going to do is, first you right click on that, on properties, and then you can see here this small icon of manage joins to other layers. So you can just turn it on first, and once you have that, you just add this, click on this button, and you will see that it's already loaded. Your CSV file is already loaded, so it will automatically detect the file. You don't have to look for it. And once you have that, you have to select a similar name, so similar attributes. So that will be the field. So the field here is the state. So that is the polygon file, and the field is state, which is similar to the target field of the shape of the CSV file, which is the state name. So it's just abbreviated as S name. So once you do that, it will show you here. that it's already joined. So you apply it, and you see that now we again go back to the attribute table to observe what's happening in the shapefile. So now you can see that they have merged all the data here, and so we have the confirmed cases here, we have the active cases, we have the recovered cases, and we have the number of deceased cases. So now what we have done is we have just merged the statistical data with the geographic data. So this is very important step before you do any analysis, because unless you don't have any statistical data merged with the geographical data is of no use. So it's very important, guys, to do this. And once you have it, you can just observe the map. And okay, so now our first step is to label these states, because we don't know where the name of the state, what is the name of the state of this polygon, of this polygon, anything. So what we are going to do is we go again in the properties, and then we go into the labels. So here it's by default it's showing no labels, but we are going to select single labels. And once we have that, what we are going to do is we will click on this free style in the placement function. So before that, you have to select the value which is going to be displayed on the label of it. And so it will be, that's, the field name is a state name. So you click that, and you select the placement free, horizontal, anywhere you like, but I'll prefer free because you can see the difference here. So it will be arranged right based on the on its ease. So if you see the polygon is like very horizontal upright, it will be arranged horizontally, sorry, vertically. And if it is very vertical, like in the state of Andhra Pradesh, it will be arranged horizontally. So basically, you can use those label styles. But now, because let's get back to the slides. If you see, we are merging here two maps. It's not just a single map. It's a combination of different maps. So one is the graphical map, and the one is the Choropleth map. So for that, you need to do some overlay analysis. So that's pretty easy. You just duplicate this layer. So once you duplicate it, you will see that the layer is duplicated and loaded here, and you can turn it on. But once you turn it on, you can see that it will go beyond the polygons. So we don't need labels in this file, right? So we go into the properties, and then we have single labels, and we change. See, always remember you use this label ABC label button, and you select no labels. So that means your labels won't be in conflict. Anyways, once you have this, what you have to do is first we are going to prepare the Choropleth map, because we want to show the total number of cases in a more visualizing way. So we start that here on the top shapefile. Remember, this is overlaid on each other. So always see that you always have this pattern of the copied file must be always below that, because we are doing some overlay analysis. So once you have this, we open the properties of the top shapefile. And if you see that we already have single labels, but now we'll go into the symbology part. This is very important, because here you are going to classify your values in the form of Choropleth map. So here by default it says single symbol, but you should have a graduated one for making a Choropleth map. Now we already have the color ramp here, but I feel that the red color is very bright, but whatever suits you, you can select. So once I have this, I can choose number of colors. So remember, guys, whatever you have used in the past, QGIS will always save the recent styles. So you can always go through it, and you don't even have the you will not face any problem in that. And so once you do that, So remember, now we are going to classify this on different by different methods. So let's see what happens in an equal count. So we classify it. Sorry, before that, we just have to select the value. So here the value will be our confirmed cases because we want to show our total cases on the map in the form of a choropleth map. So once we have that, we classify the values, right? We apply it and see how our map looks like. So guys, when you have like small number of polygons, like let's say 5 to 6 or like that, you should use equal count quantile because it proportionately divides all your states from highest to lowest, or your any polygons on the choropleth map. But if you have a large number of data, you can use natural breaks as well. But sometimes natural breaks is not the best idea to represent your data. But we will use these equal counts, and if you see that we have from the lowest category to highest category we have. So we can see clearly from here that Kerala will have a lower number of confirmed cases, whereas Tamil Nadu will have the higher number of cases. And then you can just observe the pattern how it goes. Okay, so now once we have our choropleth map, what we are going to do is we are going to add a pie chart. So that's our second part. If you see here, the graphical map, it's the pie chart. So we turn on this layer first, right click, properties, and then what we are going to do is we are going to go on the diagrams part. So here by default there's no diagram obviously, and then we select a pie chart in there. Now, the important thing is that first we have to select what attributes we need in the pie chart, because you need, remember, you need to show some valuable data on the pie chart. It's not just you can select any random fields. So we have the three classes here: active, recovered, and deceased. I select three of them together and add here. So I have this symbology here and the legend here. So these are the active cases. So now for active cases, what I want to do is I want to add some color. So that color will be yellow. I just want to choose an intuitive one, no matter. So you can select any color if you want, but it should be intuitive. It should be appealing to the another viewer who sees your map. Then you have the recovered cases, and we will represent it with a green one, right? And then we will have the deceased one. So deceased, we will keep a black color. So once you have that, just check if you have any got blank spaces, just to recheck. And then once you have that, to apply it, right? And there you go. You have your pie charts. Now, the most important thing here is that these pie charts show the proportionate data. That is, if you see here on the yellow, we have the active cases. So we have a large number of active cases. We have the recovered cases. Now, this is very important. Why we are using the pie charts? Because we want to see, we want to observe the health status as well. So we want to see that how the administrative management is going on. If you see here clearly, you can see Kerala is ahead of any other state here, right, in terms of recovery. And Tamil Nadu is almost like 50%. So they are, you can say that they are doing pretty much better than any other states in India. What important is that you can see in Tamil Nadu, you have a large number of cases, but still the recovery is more. It's 50% almost here. So the main input from this we can get is that although we have like low number of cases in Kerala, we have a very high number of cases in Tamil Nadu, but the recovery rate is fast as well. So it depends on how this epidemic goes. So we don't know what's the epidemiology behind this, but what we can analyze is from the statistical and the spatial data is that how the status of the state health administration is there. And it also depends on other factors such as urbanization, or how much densely populated it is, but we won't go into that work. So we'll proceed there. Now we only have just the raw pie charts. We don't know how many people are infected, how many people are recovered. We don't know the exact number. So for that, what we are going to do is we go again back to the top layer. We right click on that, right? And what we are going to do here is that we want the numbers, right? So we will have the text diagram. Now remember, because these both files are the duplicates of each other, we can easily overlay the labels. Because the thing is that in QGIS they don't give you the option of adding multiple charts or multiple labels. So for that, what we are going to do is we are going to just go on the properties, right, of this layer. And once we have that, we will add text diagram. Now again, what is very important is that we want to select only those two, well, those three attributes. So you add those, give the same symbology. So you can see, that's what I said. In QGIS, it's very easy to find your recent colors. So you can add them one by one. So this is for the active cases. This is for the recovered cases. But make sure you have the same symbology for your text labels, just like the pie chart, because that will represent your count of the pie chart, right? And then you apply it. Once you have your symbology sorted, you apply it, okay, and then we can see how it goes. Yes, so now what it has done is actually that it has overlapped the pie chart. So we don't want that, right? We want separate values. So for that, what we'll do is we'll remove the background. So again, in the text, under the text diagram, you have the rendering here, and your background should be transparent, right? And once you do that, you still will have the lines between, black lines, so make it transparent as well. So now when you apply it, you will see that it's overlaying again on this. So for that, you have to change the placement. So what you can do is you can always select inside the polygon if you want it, if you want the values inside the polygon and nowhere outside the polygon. So remember, it takes in QGIS, it always takes some time to render the data, and because of that, sometimes you will see that it will take a longer times to load this. Uh, and you don't have to worry about that, because what you can do is you can go into the properties, and then you can select, sorry, yes, so you can select this broomstick icon, and you can see here the force layer to render as raster. So that means it will see, it says may result in smaller export file sizes, right? So once you do that, it will be much easier to load the data. You can do the same thing for this one, right? And you can select here the same thing, and it will still take some time to render the data, because in QGIS, whenever you do some special analytics thing, it will always you will always encounter these issues. But to proceed from here, what we are going to do, see, now still we cannot see this some of the counts. So for that, you have a lot of options to change those fonts as well. So what you're going to do is you will go into the charts again. In the text diagram, you will have the size as well. You will have the rendering, and then you have the font here. So you can select a bold font size as much as big you want. I'll select here 11. Let's see how it looks. And there you have your, so it will just take some time for the rendering. But what you can see here is that whenever you make some changes, this data frame will take some time to load. Okay, so now you can see that you can see that this label charts much easier. So what you can do, the other thing to do this is to manually move a label, even if it is overlapping on any of your feature. So for that, first of all, what you need is that you need this label toolbar. So some of you might not have that one with you. So you can just check here on the label toolbar under the view, the toolbars, and you can just check this label. So you will get the label toolbar as soon as you click on that. And once you have that, you can select this move label. So it can move any diagram or a label. So now I will try to put as much as labels inside the polygon. So it is saying that it's asking just for the name, but you just go with the okay, and then it will take some time to manually arrange the labels. But after that, once you have this visualization, your map will look much better than other examples which we showed. So let's just try moving this. So it will take some time to render because it's like I said, it's QGIS, guys. It's free and open source, so it has some issues with it. But you will, it's still worth to map this because it's very quick. You can just map in 30 minutes if you follow the same steps we do. And so right, we have our map sorted out. Now it looks very different from other maps because see here, if you see the other maps, like so this map they have prepared is for different countries. So on that scale, maybe this map is useful, right? But if you want some specific visualization and you want everything in just one map, I think this is the best example. So you have your accounts, right? You have your number of confirmed cases, you have your recovery cases, and you have your deaths, deceased cases. So we have all the data now we need to map this chart out. But before that, let's say if someone wants to see the total number of cases, we can still make some changes in this. So with QGIS, you have a lot of options in this matter. So once you open this, it will again show you this text diagram. You have the attributes, right? So you have these confirmed cases here, right? So you click that and you will have this another layer as confirmed cases because we want to show the total number of cases as well, right? Excuse me. And then once you have that, you can select intuitive color in this case because we don't have any other option which looks much better than this, so we'll choose the blue color and we apply, and you will see that the total number of cases will be displayed in the blue text labels. So that's pretty much easy to map here, but it still takes time for the rendering. Can't help that. So there you go. See, now you have the total number of cases, right? But in the legend, you are seeing this that COVID-19, which is this is unusual. This is of no use. This is legend because it is very long and it's repetitive. So you gotta change that. So you go into the properties, and then you have this legend, right? So why I want to change it, because now we are almost going to map this data frame. So now it's no more a data frame, it's a map it's going to be a map in the next few minutes. So before that, we always need to make it more optimal. So see, once you have this, you have this symbology here, right? So it will show, it looks really much better than the previous one where we had like long legends and the text was of no use, which was the prefix. So it will still take some time to load, but we always have we always have to be patient when we work with GIS, because the thing is, see, if you see the extent here, it's showing a geographical extent of a very large area. It's not just graphics. These are not graphics. This is a actual geographical boundaries, right? And if you want to let's say check this with some, so I have a plugin called the base map plugin. So you can select a number of maps from here, but the thing is that it will take more time to load behind that. So what we are going to do is that you can see, you can always download these plugins in QGIS, and once you have that, you can do any sort of personalizations. But just for this webinar's sake, we are going to proceed with our mapping exercise. So we have all the data on our data frame, right? So what we are going to do is, now we are actually making the map. So what we are going to do is, we'll just go into the project and then select this new print layout and give it some intuitive name. So remember, you have to give this names, because you don't need to remember this again and again. If you have named it in a better way, when you are working with a lot of geographical data, it will be very easier for you. COVID-19 South Indian states, right? And then you have this, and it will open a new window, right? So what we are going to do is, we are going to add a map here. So that's our data frame. We are going to add the same data frame, and here there's an option of add new map to the layout. So you can select and extend wherever you want to. So see, again, it's rendering the map, because usually, because we have a large extent of graphical in terms of graphic, um, it takes a longer time to load these things. All right, so now we have this map on our screen, but we don't know actually how it looks when you zoom it. So it will still render, remember, because the thing is, in QGIS, whenever you have this map layout, it will take some more time to render the map. But once you have it, it's pretty much easier now. So now you can see our map is loaded, but still there are some minor conflicts which you can actually do using this move labels and or diagram. So you can do that manually and check if you want to, let's say if you want this outside somewhere, you can check there. So remember, this layout will take some time again to render the map, right? So see, if you see here, it has got a scale, it has got a system, coordinate system. So remember, always when you work with this QGIS or any other GIS software, you check what is the current coordinate system. So this is WGS 84. So this is the most commonly used geographical reference system, coordinate system. So why we need this? Because uh, basically these are lat longs. So here there will be some latitude, longitude, and if you, let's say if you see here, if you go in the info one and you click here, there are no features, but if you click here, you will see this state, right? So now these polygons are actually based on these polygons are actually based on some actual value on a geographical scale. So those are lat longs, right? And so once we have our map, we'll go back to the map layout to check whether we have our map ready. Before that, we'll zoom it out and we'll add some legend here because it's the most important part we have to do. So we have our legend. Now, remember, whenever you add the legend, it will automatically add the legend of all layers, right? All the layers. But we don't need most of this. We just need the choropleth symbology, and we need this active and these different categories of cases, right? So let me just arrange this. Much you can arrange it any way you want, and then right click on this legend on the item properties, and when you go there you will see that it's on auto update, right? So you close that and you have this so let me show you. Yeah, so you have this minus sign. So what you're gonna do is now you select this layer and remove it. So instantly it will remove the layers which you don't need, right? Okay, so here you have your legend sorted, right? Now we need to give a very good name to our legend, right? So we need a legend title. So again, we, like I said, we right click on that item properties and then we give a legend title to it. So we will say that, okay, COVID, COVID-19 cases and it's South India, South India. So once you have this, it will update it very soon. And so sometimes there are some issues with the space, but like I said, it's very you can make many changes you need. So you have the legend. Now the most important map elements we have to use are the scale bar and the north arrow, because we this is not just a graphic file. It's actual spatial data. So you give a scale bar here, so you can see that it shows the exact number of this distance, right, between the geographic this spatial frame. So that's what makes it different from other graphical tools, right? So you can just add any graphics without any geographical location or geographical spatial details. In GIS, you need the exact location, right? So once you have that, you have this north arrow. So you put the north arrow wherever you like. Now you can make some changes with it. You can give it darker color, right? And when you give it, it will give you the north arrow. But make sure you add all these map items like the scale bar, the north arrow. These are very important elements of the map. And more importantly, now we need a title, right? So what we are going to do is we'll add it. So here you can add any text from this icon, this one, T, right? And then you right click it on the properties. You have your title. So coronavirus COVID-19 cases, right, in South India or Southern India, whatever you want to, right? And more importantly, you have to select the font because it's of no use. So I usually use these bold ones. So this is you can remember this font style if you want, but it doesn't matter. You can select any of font style it pleases you, and then once you have that, you arrange it here like this, right? So see, we have added most of the basic elements. There are n number of elements you can add. You can add some charts. So I'll show you in the example how you can add the charts as well. You can make some pie charts in your PowerPoint and your Excel, and then you can add it as an image here. So for that, you have this option, add a new picture to the layout, right? So you can add that easily. Now, once we have this map ready with all our elements, what we are going to do is we'll just zoom it. So just make sure how it looks, right? It will take some time to render. This render bar always shows you if it is rendering or not. And once we have it ready, we will, yes, so it's completed. The rendering has completed. So what we'll do is now we will just save this file. So here you can click, you have different options here. So you can save it as an SVG file, and then you have a PDF file, and then you can export always as an image. Now you have a number of extensions here. See, the highest sort of resolutions here are this BMP, and usually we use JPG or JPEG, whatever you want, right? So let's save it here as the JPEG. So it will show you how much DPI you want. Let's say if you want 200 DPI, and you save it. So what interesting about QGIS is that whenever you save it, you don't have to go around looking for the folder where you have saved it, right? It will automatically save in the working folder, and you can actually access that folder once this rendering, this export has been completed. So it will show you here on the top here a link. So let's wait for a few seconds, and you will see that. Yeah, there you go. So here it will show you a link always in QGIS. Whenever you export a map or any PDF or any file, you will see here when you click the link, right, it will open the folder. See, and it will highlight your map as well. So here you have all the values, right? So now remember, we, because we have a very limited time here, we are not arranging everything, but you have got a lot of options to change your symbology. You change your labels placement. You can place anywhere you want with the label. Again, I'll show you that label tool. So remember, so guys, you will even receive every step-by-step tutorial of this webinar. But before that, if you, let's say if you want to see the label bar, remember you go in the toolbars and you check this if you don't have. Most of you won't have it by default, and then you can move all the labels and diagrams, right? Okay, and then when you have this on this one file uh, as a JPG or anything, you can see that okay, the symbology is pretty much intuitive, because you can see here that all the symbols it represents are on the map. The active number of cases, the record, and then you have very nice pie charts as well. And most importantly, you have the graduated colors, right? So the lighter the shade is, the lower the value. Always remember this. But it depends on your on your own personalized visualization. Whatever you want to do, you can change here. Anyways, so we are done with the mapping component. So remember, once you have saved this, it doesn't automatically save this file. You have to save the project always, right? And here also you can save here. So your map layout will be saved with this name. So whenever you open this layout, it will open this file. Not necessarily this map, because it depends on what data frame you are using, but that map layout will be anyways, it will be loaded. So there you go. We have created Choropleth as well as a pie chart map with all the counts of the southern states of India. You can do it for your own administrative boundaries. There is no barrier at all, right? For your respective countries or your states. Even you can do it for your districts or counties, wherever you live. It doesn't matter. You just have to remember the science of just joining the spatial or geographical data with the statistical data, right? Okay. Thank you so much. So we have completed our hands-on mapping component. So now we will start with our PowerPoint, right? So it's just I just want to show you that okay how we have mapped different things, because currently we are working on few projects of coronavirus mapping at the state and local government level, and it's very helpful for them if you can make these maps on a daily basis, so you can see the change, see the pattern of these maps, right? So this we created a blog. You can visit this blog. And okay, most important thing is that if you want to download the data of this, right? So this cases data, you can download it from this website forward in 19india.org. You will get this link in the PDF. And if you are from any other country, right, you can download it from WHO or dashboard. But it doesn't give you this active record cases like maybe on daily basis. I don't think they give. So you can always check your own state website, right? Anyways, what we will what we will do is we will go ahead, and this is the another map, right? This map is of the Gujarat state, and we are actually working with different mapping projects for the local media and government, and we have mapped a few cases here as well. And remember, you can always make changes in your maps, whatever symbology you want. But remember, these are the important map elements: the north arrow, the scale bar, the legend, and then you can just cite the source wherever you want. And we already have this here. So you remember always to give some credit to the data where you have obtained it, so the platform gets some credit and it gets more visits. Anyways, we'll proceed. Yes, and so if you have any queries about what type of services we provide or what type of training we provide, you can always contact us at info@tgs. You have the number here. You can WhatsApp us, and you can even email us or just drop an message anytime you want. And these are all the services we provide. So we have this hydrology mapping, land use mapping, and also for wildlife we are mapping. And currently we are also working with few projects for other countries such as Indonesia and Israel. Um, in Indonesia, we have our own different startup, which is a subsidiary of QGIS. It's Cartodex. You can also visit at cartodex.com, but it's basically for Indonesian crowd. And yeah, so you can see our services here. And also, if you want to get some personalized tips or personalized advice from us, you can always get our coaching. We can help you online. You don't even have to visit any place. It's all online right now. So okay, so now I think we will proceed with the Q&A session. We still have some time for that, but I'm happy to extend it for a few minutes. So let's start with the Q&A session, and we will try to respond you as soon as possible. So we will uh, uh, you can drop your Q&A messages, right? And we will see that we can respond it. We will respond it specifically. So remember, guys, you have this. Let me show you the platform on Zoho, right? Here you have this Q&A. Okay, so here we already have some updates, right? And you can always put a message here. You will get your response. And even if this tutorial, this webinar is over, you will get all the Q&A responses back, and you actually don't have to worry about anything. You can contact us anytime. But let me go through our website as much as possible. So because we conduct a lot of workshops here, and you can check because now we have the lockdown here in India, so we are doing everything on online, right? So I'll show you some of the upcoming workshops we have on at the TGIS, and we are organizing a webinar on hydrological applications, and that webinar is on next month, 9th May, and we have limited seats in that. But still we can extend, we don't have to worry about that. But remember, this webinar, it's not free, as we have had this webinar on coronavirus cases mapping. So you will have to you can see another webinar as well. So this one is free. This one is on environmental impact assessment, and it is on 2nd May, Saturday, so next week. But here you have to pay a fee for it's 1000 Indian rupees, and you will learn a lot of things in the hydrology workshop. It's believe me, it's really useful. If you want to attend this webinar, it will help you no matter whatever field you are in. We usually get a lot of civil engineering students. We get geology students who want to learn all this sort of technical mapping. So this we have this one we have on the next week, and you can register it from here. You can make your payment here, and yes, so this is a free webinar. You don't have to pay for this one. Environmental impact assessment. It's on the second Saturday, 2nd May of the next week, and then yes, I think we still have some time for the Q&A, so we will proceed with that. In the meantime, if you find any difficulty with downloading any shapefile or that, you can email us or you can message us. But mostly we will give you the inputs in this session. So we'll give you the links, and you'll definitely find some of the shape files in there. But the most important thing is here. If you go on this slide, yeah, so you have to arrange your data. You have to arrange your data in this format, because we need a graduated Choropleth map based on this value, informed cases, with the total number of cases. We need this active cases data. So all you can get is from this website is that information, right? So I'm not going on that. I'm not actually elaborating on how to get this data, but we still have provided links in the tutorial PDF. You can always check those links and download your statistical data on the cases. And if you are from any other country, uh, you can always search on Diva GIS. I think it's in the Q&A session. You are getting some responses on that. As far as this webinar is concerned, I think what you have learned from this webinar is how to represent statistical data in the form of some very intuitive maps. Um, and you can always join our webinars on this. And we also provide some conceptual background of this webinar, because remember, hands-on training is not just one component of our webinars. We even provide so you will get all these slides as well. So you can always refer to these slides whenever you have a project or whenever you're mapping for something. But remember that always to learn some conceptual background before you start mapping, because otherwise what you will miss is you will miss the opportunity to present the data in a very well mannered format. And if you visit this, so you can always click on these links. It will take you to the image where we have obtained these images, and you can always take a look at different maps there to get some more idea. But as far as this webinar is concerned, we had this very basic webinar on the corona outbreak mapping with GIS, and I think in 1 hour it's not that much. It's very it's always easy to learn basic things. But for advanced, you need more time because GIS is all about practice, and especially with QGIS, because you have a lot of options called the plugins. You can download those, and it's free of cost. QGIS is simply free, and I will put all the links of the download web page of QGIS as well, so you can download the software directly from there. And remember, you download the latest long-term release version, because that will actually not crash more often than the other latest versions. So long-term release versions are usually stable in their operation, and we have already put some links in the tutorial, and you will receive the tutorial PDFs maybe in 1 or 2 days. We'll try to make it more quicker, but you will definitely receive those tutorial PDFs. So even if you missed any part from this webinar, you will be able to learn from there individually using the tutorial PDFs. And guys, make sure you use all the conceptual background we have before mapping, because whenever you present this to anyone in your organization or in your circles, uh, they should know that you are doing it based on some concept, and not just abruptly using some shortcuts. So I think there are a lot of options of Choropleth maps and graphs and all that. But as far as this webinar is concerned, what you have learned is the basic technique to make this analytical maps, because you can learn a lot from just a single map. Just from a single map, you can get a lot of idea. So this we are just showing you for the comparison. Um, I mean, on a large scale, maybe it's much useful, but it doesn't. The map doesn't actually give you a specific representation, because it gets messier than when you have your administrative boundaries very close, like in the Europe and in the US states. So the best way here is to go scale by scale. Like, let's say if you're mapping for US, you need a particular scale, just like this, right? So once you have that, you can actually easily view your maps, even if you use proportional symbols, which is the most common technique of mapping this special analytics. And then you have this Choropleth always, which is one of the best mapping symbologies used. And graphs are just very good in representing statistical data, especially if it is proportion, like percentage share or something like that. And most importantly, remember, you always have your formats correct, because if you don't have a shape file in this format and you don't have the supporting file in the same folder, let's say you just copy this file and put some in your working folder, it won't run. It needs all the supporting files with itself. And the same goes with CSV. In CSV, you don't leave spaces between your fields. You just put all the data in just one flow. So in CSV, if you have Microsoft Excel, or if you don't have a Microsoft Excel, uh, you can always use Google Maps, because I mean Google Suite, because in Google Suite, if you see, you have got this Excel spreadsheet as well. So it's called the Google spreadsheet. You can save a CSV from there as well. It's all online. There is no installation or anything, but most of you might be having this Microsoft Suite, so you can easily convert an Excel sheet to .csv. But remember, you have to save this in this file, right? Okay, I think we are pretty much clear of what we have done today. And if you have any sort of queries, you can always feel free to contact us. And if you have, let's say, any future plans to join our webinars, you can come. You can go on this website on the upcoming webinar section, and you can see our posters. It will give you more detail what we have, what the content is in those webinars. All right, guys. Thank you so much for this workshop, because we really got a very good response in terms of registrations, and because now everyone is working from home, I think webinar is a very good platform for GIS training. So thank you so much once again, and hope we will meet in our upcoming webinars again as well. And thank you so much. I'm Sri Rakolia, and TGS is very grateful that you joined this webinar. Thank you so much.